I want to welcome everyone to the Berks County Commissioners Board meeting for July the 23rd. I want to make a note here at the beginning. There are two opportunities to comment during the meeting. The one is at the beginning of the agenda and is limited to comments on specific agenda items. So if you have a comment, please go ahead and put the comment in and note at the beginning that it is directed towards a specific agenda item and note what the agenda item is. The other comment period is for the end of the meeting, and we note that if you want to make a comment, the public are limited to one comment. You need to give us your name and the municipality where you reside. Our total comment period is limited to a maximum of 30 minutes. With that, we will begin our meeting, and we'll begin with a moment of silence followed by a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For the record, we did have 3 executive sessions since the last commissioners meeting. On July 20th, personnel and union negotiations. July 21st, personnel and union negotiations. And July 22nd, personnel, litigation, union negotiations, real estate, and security. Are there any additions or corrections for the minutes of the July 16th Commissioner meeting minutes, the July 16th Phase 3 Recovery and Beyond meeting, and the July 21st, 2020 Operations meeting? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. Mary, is there any public comment on specific agenda items?
There are not.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Moving to the agenda, item 1, authorizing, under that, Budget Department. Adopt a resolution authorizing 2020 budget transfers in the amount of $87,184 and 2020 appropriations in the amount of $773,681 per listing dated July the 20th of 2020. There's several items listed under Human Resources. Item 1, authorize the appointment of Andrew Scott to Assistant Public Defender 1. Item 2, authorize the salary adjustment for Jill Koharchek, paralegal in the Solicitor's Office. Item 3, authorize the utilization of a temporary agency for a senior governmental accountant, Office of the Controller. We have several items listed under the Commissioners. Item A, adopt a resolution ratifying, confirming, and approving Berks County Treasurer A. Dennis Adams to open a new Pliget account for the $38,034,840 in CARES Act grant funds at the rate of 0.36%. Item B, adopt a resolution authorizing execution of agreement SAP between the Pennsylvania Department of Drug and Alcohol Programs and Berks County to develop and implement a comprehensive plan of addiction services relative to substance use and problem gambling disorders. The agreement is in effect for a 5-year period from July 1 of 2020 to June 30th of 2025. Item C, Adopt a resolution authorizing execution of the grant application to the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency for the county intermediate punishment programs for fiscal year 2020 and 2021 in the amount of $410,000. Item D, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute the memorandum of understanding with Tower Health on behalf of its entities and providers concerning guidance and advice provided by Tower Health members of the Berks County Government COVID-19 Healthcare Advisory Panel to the County Commissioners and County of Berks. Item E, adopt a resolution authorizing and approving revisions to the right to know policy and procedures dated January the 1st of 2009 and further authorizes the appointment of Jill Koharchak as Berks County Open Records Officer effective July 23rd of 2020. Item F, adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of the 2020 through 2025 Title 4D Cooperative Agreement between the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services, the Domestic Relations Section of the Court of Common Pleas, and the County Commissioners of Berks County for the administration and performance of the Title 4D Child Support Enforcement Program and to ensure the securing of financial and medical support for minor children. Item G, adopt a resolution authorizing execution of the Plan and Budget Amendment Certification Statement for County Children and Youth Social Services Programs for fiscal year 2019-2020. The amendment is necessary because of increased expenses in institutional placements for JPO, assuming the 10% variance to the budget threshold allowed by the state. Item H, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to electronically execute the equitable sharing agreement and certification to the Department of Justice and U.S. Treasury Department reporting the federal forfeiture money received and spent by the District Attorney's Office for fiscal year ending June the 30th of 2020. Item 2, a motion authorizing execution of contract agreements amendments as furnished by the contract coordinator as set forth on the attached listing dated July the 21st of 2020. There are a total of 16 contracts, one with the Area Agency on Aging, one with the Berksheim, 3 with CareerLink, 9 with Children and Youth Services, 1 with Information Systems, and 1 with Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities. Then item 3, a motion to ratify and confirm payments as set forth on the Controller's Office voucher listing. It's dated July the 21st of 2020 for the week ending July 21 of 2020 and the payment of electronic transfers and employee payroll.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The motion is carried. With that, we'll turn to Dennis Adams, our county treasurer, with our county treasurer's report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
A little bit cooler today, at least, anyways. We had an opening balance today of $217,904,217.69. A balance to clear of $4,021,569.44, leaving us with a balance of $213,882,648.25.
Thank you very much. We'll turn now to our county controller, Sandy Graffius, with the controller's report.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Okay, total accounts payable, $31,778,089.56. We had a payroll this week of $4,579,458.30 for a grand total of $36,419,905 $357,547.86.
Sounds like we paid a bond in there, Sandy.
Yeah. Did you
Very
get
good.
Paid
Thank you,
the,
Sandy.
yeah.
We'll turn now to our Chief Administrative Officer, Ron Seaman, for his report.
Thank you. There's nothing to report at this time.
Well, that quickly, we are to commissioners' reports, and we'll start with Commissioner Kevin Barnhart, who's been sent back to school. He loves
Yes,
his Epler school
promoting
setting.
promoting Epler's one-room schoolhouse. Good morning, Commissioner Leinbach, Commissioner Rivera, and others. A couple of quick announcements. I want to thank the Reading Eagle for their very timely article about contact tracing, headline in this morning's paper, and Carolyn Basic and her staff for doing a real tremendous job here locally. To date, we have 347 contacts in the database. Only 24 have refused contact tracing services for a low of 7%. This represents 81 new contacts in the past week, or about a 30% increase. Delays in COVID-19 test results being available and entered into the PA NEDSS system results in delays in the positive cases being contacted by the DOH nurse. The nurses are responsible for entering the positive case and their contacts into the SharePoint database. Until that happens, the tracers do not have access to the information needed to start the tracing process. Again, the backlog in the testing results really has put a crimp in really being proactive, but once they get that information, they're making the contacts. And a note from Carolyn, I expect that as more of the community becomes active and return to school and sports, that we will see more positive cases and the opportunity for larger scale exposures will exist. So that's a note to everyone out in the community to continue to wear your mask, social distance, minimize any large scale gatherings. That virus is still out there. It's very, very lethal. So please, we don't want to overburden the testing sites as well as our contact tracers as we move from summer into fall and winter. We have met again with Whit O'Brien, our grant administrator, supporting us on our CARES Act and the other CARES Act allocations throughout the community. They had a session with BCIU, their chief financial officers and business managers on Tuesday, which went very well, directing them to the proper function of applying for FEMA grants, as well as completing our community needs assessment, so we know what the total exposure is out in the community. And just as a note for people that might be interested, our June billing from Whit O'Brien was $8,485. So I think it's an expense that's well worth the effort to have Stephen and Matt and sometimes other FEMA professionals with us on our virtual meetings to help put us through this. Here's an example. We've been talking about not receiving enough money, and there is some serious talk in Washington about a second round of stimulus money, that more of that money should be coming directly to the counties for distribution. I will tell you, with the assessments we've received so far, now keep in mind $38 million. Tower Health, now we assume this might be their entire system of 7 hospitals, out of pocket have not been reimbursed for $17.7 million in expenses. Helping Harvest, since the outbreak of COVID-19 and through the end of the year, will need $7 million. That leaves us $13.3 million, gentlemen. And the $13.3 million is probably what the county will have spent in PPE, warehousing and stocking masks and gowns and face shields and everything else for the, so you can see how $38 million goes right out the window. Now, part of our assessment review with Whit O'Brien tomorrow is going to be working through that, contacting these various entities like Tower Health and asking them, is this really your entire network? Is this, because you have facilities in Chester, Montgomery County, is this your total loss, or is this simply the West Reading and Berks County facilities? So when we talk about we should have received $75 million, there's $38 million right out the window. So we could basically write a check to ourselves, a check to Tower Health, and a check to Helping Harvest, and there goes the money. Just want to put that out as a as a warning. So there's nothing left in that scenario for our businesses, for our not-for-profits. But again, we're going to do a deep dive into this information tomorrow and get back to a lot of these representatives. This afternoon, we will be providing our draft of the SET report, the Savings and Efficiency Team here at Berks County. For those people who are interested in how the county will be looking at improving technology specifically and some other efficiency upgrades in the near term and the long term, that is what the SET report is all about. And I really want to especially thank my assistant, Jessica Blauser, for compiling all this information. JD Del Calo, our Prothonotary, being the part of the team from the row officer component, and Tracy Bartlett from court administration. So everyone's done a great job. We also had Justin Luce and Bob Patrizio as our part of this discussion to keep it in focus from a budget and an IT perspective. Last but not least, I want to thank the members of Everyone Counts in Berks County Census 2020 team for their efforts in the city, specifically on Tuesday, city designated Census Day in Reading. From what I understand, they were able to capture about 300 people who have otherwise did not fill out their census, and how critically important it is. And I'm not going to get tired of saying this. This COVID-19 pandemic has showed how critically important that money in Washington coming back to Reading and Berks County is critical to this community. Everyone counts, and it's so critically important we get that money back that we so richly deserve in this community to rebuild Berks County. So my thanks to Co-County Wellness and to Census 2020 and their team out there in the street in that hot weather on Tuesday. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Commissioner Barnhart. We'll turn now to Commissioner Rivera for your comments.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Leinbach. A couple of things I want to touch on here. One is the small business restart grant. The deadline was July the 17th. That has been expanded. It is still open for now. So if you know of any business that needs help, they've suffered losses due to COVID, please have them go to the Neighborhood Housing Services of Greater Reading website to complete that grant application. There have been some adjustments made to it to make it easier to apply and also to provide more funding for the applicants. So please, if you know of any businesses, have them go on there. Due to where this money has come from, there's two issues that we've seen in it. One is we still have businesses from the city applying, and we can't do anything with this round of money because of where it comes from, but we're looking at from the CARES Act money having also small business grants, and that will be open to all the businesses, no matter where they're located in the city. So if you are in the city and if you're still in need, please hang on there a little bit more. We will be having funds for small business grants from the CARES Act, and that will apply to businesses no matter where they're located at. The other issue that we've been finding is the revenue, primarily with some of the restaurants where they have high gross revenues but low profit margins. Unfortunately, with this small business restart grant, we cannot address that either, again, because of where the money's coming from. But with the CARES Act money, we are looking at doing things a little bit differently so that those types of businesses like restaurants and other businesses that have higher gross sales but lower profit margins will be able to qualify, because we understand that they're important as well and that they have economic needs also. So if you're one of those two businesses, please hang on there. We'll have more information on that shortly. The other thing I want to touch on is the Rebuild Berks initiative between the county and the GRCA, the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance. There's 4 things that go on in there. One is education and training, which is provided completely free. They have comprehensive training workshops, and they also have a reopening certificate program. And it's important that business owners take these courses, one, so they're aware of things that they should be doing to make sure that they're reopening in a safe manner. But also, two, we have to look at that the way consumers buy now and are doing things has changed because of COVID. Will they go back to normal? We don't know. Will they will keep on doing more things online or in different ways? There's a good chance that that will happen. So businesses need to know how they need to modify their business model to be able to continue dealing with these consumers who their spending habits have changed. So it's important that you get more information on that, and you can go to rebuildberks.com. That's rebuildberks.com for more information on that. One of the other initiatives that they have is the Shop Local, in which they're encouraging people to shop at the many local businesses, wonderful businesses that we have here in Berks County, rather than going to another county, going elsewhere, maybe buying online from out of state. Please go to our local businesses, buy there, and help support these businesses. They're local business owners who help our sports teams, who help our school district, and who help in many, many other ways. So please, when you're looking at buying, consider going local, buying local, and going maybe downtown or some of the other businesses that are owned and run here in Berks County. The other initiative that's part of it is the Connect Local, in which we're encouraging businesses to source their production materials locally whenever possible. The GRCA has a list of where you say, these are my needs, my production material needs that I have. Are there any businesses locally that can supply those? And GRCA will put you in contact with that business, make the connection so you can buy as much as you can locally, again, to support our local businesses and help the Berks County economy grow. And the fourth part of that is the funding part, which is the grant that I spoke about earlier. As Commissioner Barnhart indicated, yet of the 38 million, we're not sure how much is going to go to what, but we do have some numbers in mind to go to that. What it will end up looking like, we don't know. Will we get another round from the federal government? We don't know, but we do understand that there is a need out there for businesses to be able to get these grants to be able to restart and continue operations. So stay tuned for more information on that. And that's all I have. Commissioner Leinbach, back to you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Rivera and Commissioner Barnhart. I have two items I want to highlight. First of all, for those that can see this, we received notification yesterday in writing, we knew about this before, that Berks County has been awarded the NACO, the National Association of Counties 2020 Achievement Award, and this is for the Colebrookdale Railroad Connect communities and two major counties through tourism. There are two different, one is another county and one is Colebrookdale Railroad. So congratulations to Nathan Guest and all of the amazing volunteers. Normally this would have been presented at the NACO annual conference, which would have been held in Florida right now. And for obvious reasons, that was canceled a couple of months ago, not knowing exactly what was going to happen, but it clearly was the right decision in light of the numbers and hospitalizations that are occurring in Florida. I want to share my screen briefly to show you the latest dashboard numbers. This is the Pennsylvania Department of Health COVID-19 Early Warning Monitoring Dashboard. I'm going to show you two groups of data. The first is all of Pennsylvania, and these are rolling 14 days numbers, and these were last updated on the 17th, so they go through July 16th and back 14 days. It's important because this is where we get a sense of trends. Newly reported confirmed cases are trending up, and you look the first 7 days versus the most recent 7 days. The incident rate per 100,000, and in many respects, this is one of the more important numbers. You could have more confirmed cases simply because you're testing more people. But as long as the positivity rate stays at a manageable level and doesn't go up, that's not a bad thing. But the positivity rate does continue to climb. The incident rate per 100,000, I'm misreading. The positivity rate is flat. So this is the positivity rate, 4.4%, 4.4%. So you have more cases, but you don't have a higher positivity rate. The hospitalizations, however, are going up. You can look at some other locations, but you'll find that these numbers are largely being driven by southwestern Pennsylvania, and southwestern Pennsylvania has been in green about a month longer than Berks County. Average use of ventilators is down. Now, some additional information there. On Monday, I'm part of the County Commissioners Task Force. There's about 12 or 15 of us that speak with the Governor's Office and DOH Monday and Friday of each week. And we asked about the ventilator issue. Ventilators are not in the same demand that they were early on. They are being used differently and used far less often and only in very specific cases. So I don't know how long they're going to continue to track the ventilators information usage, but it is on there for now. And then the percent of hospital emergency department visits due to COVID-like illnesses, that has remained flat. If you want to find this, all you need to do is type in COVID-19, Pennsylvania, COVID-19 early warning dashboard. It will be one of the first items that come up. When you choose by county, it first shows you Pennsylvania, but then you can choose the drop-down menu, go to whatever county. In this case, we're going to go to Berks, and then you can look at the Berks specific data, and it'll take a minute for it to process. So newly reported cases, they've gone up. I think people are aware of that in the last 7 days versus the prior 7 days. The incident rate per 100,000 residents has gone up in the last 7 days. The positivity test has gone up to 4.2%. We're below the state average, but we're going back up. Hospitalizations, good news, the most recent 7 days, that number is down. That's another very serious number that we want to keep an eye on. Ventilators, usage has gone down. You heard my comments prior. There's a slight increase in emergency department visits due to COVID-like illnesses. I share this as a tool that is available to any one of our residents. We do, through our Department of Emergency Services, monitor all of this information on a daily basis and look at that information on a daily basis. And I believe I noted this last week. We've requested that the Department of Health, I specifically asked Governor Wolf to have the Department of Health update this on a daily basis versus once a week, so we can see trends a little bit sooner. It's harder to wait a week to get a sense of what a trend may be. So I wanted to share that with our viewers and share that with the public. With that, we'll turn to our row officers. Any of our row officers on the call, do you have any comments that you would like to make? Okay, not hearing from any of our row officers, we will turn to public comment. I will reiterate, as we have before, this is public comment. It is not a question and answer period. The commissioners do reserve the right at the end of the comment period to make any additional comments. With that, I'll turn to Mary Buer to start reading the comments for today.
Becky Ellis, Reading. Yesterday, during a PSBA webinar, I asked the following question. I was told that parents of schools in a district that are not mandated to report to the school entity are not mandated to report if they themselves contract COVID-19. I wanted to verify if this is correct. If so, isn't this a potential liability to our districts, since students of sick parents could potentially be coming to school, not exhibiting symptoms, and be carriers of the virus to other students, teachers, admin, and support staff? The following is the answer I received. Under the recent guidance, it is the health authorities that are responsible as per what information is needed in order for appropriate safeguards to be in place. We do not have a health department here in Berks. When will we get one so that we can ensure that safe decisions are being made with regards to COVID-19 based upon the current conditions within our county, especially with regards to our schools? Thank you. Liz Cates, Bern Township. The detention of small children is harmful to their well-being. ICE is in violation of the Tories agreement at the Berks Family Detention Center. Will you place the families at the center with sponsors and repurpose the facility? Betty Schmoyer, Heidelberg Township. My question remains the same as in prior weeks. If they can release the Luzerne County judge because of COVID-19, why are the immigrants at the center still being detained? They all have a sponsor. What are we waiting for? They are in danger of COVID-19 also. There is still no action on the release of the detainees at the detention center. What are we waiting for? Syed Ahmed from Why I'm Missing. Remdesivir is one of the 2 drugs proven effective at combating COVID-19. 2 weeks ago, the Trump administration bought up almost all of the world's supply of the drug for the next 3 months. Is there any communication that you are aware of at the county or state level and the Trump administration to gain access to this if needed by our hospitals? Crystal Kowalski, Why I'm Missing. Dear Commissioners, the Berks County criminal justice system has made national headlines again. The Stanley Gracious case raises the important question, what exactly is appropriate about the use of a taser on a man while he buys a bicycle for his son? Tasers are classified as less lethal weapons, not non-lethal weapons. What would have happened if this father was killed while he was buying a bike for his son? Watching the 2 videos that record the arrest of Stanley Gracious and seeing the subsequent charges of 3 felonies and 5 misdemeanors makes me call into question the many other times I have seen these charges on a docket. In Gracious's case, they were wholly unwarranted. You can't expect a person to submit to arrest when they have not committed a crime. How often does this happen? What occurs in the majority of cases where there are no bystanders recording? The reason this country and this county are seeing sustained and ongoing protests is precisely because of what our leaders deem as appropriate behavior. Thank you. Resub Marmont, Amity Township. Can you tell us how many mail-in ballots in the June primary were not able to be counted, either due to late arrival or other issues, and what measures are you investigating to help facilitate the voting process for the general election? Henry OLeary, Kumru Township. Mercifully, the governor has extended the eviction deadline, but that is likely to do little more than postpone the inevitable. What is your plan for handling the impact of this pending disaster? It will surely be more expensive to house, feed, and clothe all the people thrown out of their homes than having them stay where they are. Will you press for a longer extension? Will the county create a fund available to every renter so that they can pay their rent when the moratorium ends? Jane Palmer, why I'm missing. On Friday, for a period of 12 hours, hundreds of people gathered at the detention center to express their horror and dismay that Black and brown families were still locked up there. And today's paper includes the grim news that another federal judge has declined to order the release of 300 detained migrant parents and children, including those in Berks, despite what he politely called shortcomings in the way ICE is handling the COVID contagion. As we all know, congregate settings are the very worst places for people to be during a pandemic. And yet you continue to preside over such a hothouse in our own backyard. What will tip the balance in favor of these families who want nothing more than you and I, the right to live in peace and dignity? Tobias Rhoads, Reading. Commissioner Limbach, you have repeatedly said that people can email commissioners anytime, that meetings aren't Q&A sessions, and that you're not going to answer all the questions. Quote, that's not what we do in a meeting. My question to you, sir, is where is the accountability? With the Reading Eagle diminished, there are precious few places for the public to learn what you're doing and what you think about our concerns, and private email doesn't do the job. Sometimes the meeting minutes include the questions that have been asked in previous weeks, but other times those questions aren't included. I find it valuable to see what other people have asked about on weeks where I'm not able to watch the meeting. I would appreciate it if the minutes could include these questions in a format where the text is searchable. Also, I work, so my schedule prevents me from attending most of your meetings. Moving the time of the meetings to an evening or even a weekend schedule would allow for more Berks County residents to attend. Is there a reason why community participation and governmental transparency aren't more important than convenience? William Bellows, why I'm missing. That's it, Commissioner. That's it, Commissioner Barnhart. We're just supposed to be careful as schools and businesses open and flu season looms. Berks announced 24 new positive cases today, which is pretty much how we're running these days. This is well above the original guidelines for moving into the green phase, higher even than when we moved into that phase, and yet here we are. The world can see what happens in places that reopen too quickly. How will you respond if our cases continue to rise? Will you mandate a mask order for real, not just make suggestions? Bri Tyson, Reading. An incident at the Walmart in Wyomissing this week resulted in Mr. Stanley Gracious being charged with multiple counts, including a felony, aggravated assault. His fines and fees look like they might be close to $3,000. Cash bail is a horrible system that perpetuates inequities in the justice system that are disproportionately felt by Black people and those living in poverty. What will you do to end cash bail in Berks County? Amy Louise Lemongood, Amity Township. I recently saw some stats on COVID-19 testing from a large tester in South Central PA, namely Wellspan, which gave a breakdown by county on the numbers of people tested, percent testing positive, negative, pending, etc. Do Berks County Commissioners have access to similar data regarding testing in our county, and how can residents in Berks access it? The data from just this one lab raises some troubling questions. In several neighboring counties, the number of test results pending is greater than the number of positives, signaling that in actuality, there are more people with the virus than we are being led to believe. Given that and the fact that the people are waiting, in some cases 2 weeks plus to receive their results, how can we safely send students and teachers back to school? And that is the last question posted.
Thank you very much. At this time, we will close the comment period. Do my colleagues have any comments they would like to offer?
I do not, thank you.
I have one, and it's in reference to the rental assistance. There is assistance for both renters and people that need help with their mortgage payments. You can get more information on the Do Your Part website, doyourpartberks.com. If you go to resources on the top right, there'll be a drop box, and the second one down is rental assistance. You will find information there in reference as to who to contact for what type of help. So yes, there is assistance that is countywide for people that cannot pay the rent due to COVID-related situations.
I'm also going to address one item. There is detailed data available on the PA Department of Health website. It's under section COVID-19 Data for Pennsylvania. If you go to their page, you can find it. I'm waiting for, it has all kinds of data. This is a statewide screen, but then you can get county case data. You can look at death by county. You can look at long-term facilities. They do epi curves by region. So there is a lot of data available relative to Berks County, as well as other counties and the state on the Pennsylvania Department of Health. With that, if there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The meeting stands adjourned.